Hello students, welcome to 7th lecture of electrochemistry. So in previous lecture we discussed about some relationship between thermodynamics and electrochemistry. In this lecture we are going to discuss about conductivity in electrolytic solutions. So today's point will be 3.4 conductance of electrolytic solution. So it is necessary to define few terms before we consider the subject of conductance of electricity through electrolytic solution. The electrical resistance is represented by symbol R and it is measured in ohm, which in term of SI base unit is equal to
kilogram into meter square divided by Siemens cube ampere square. It can be measured with the help of a Wheatstone bridge, with which you are familiar from the study of physics. Now let me show you the image of Wheatstone bridge. This is the image of Wheatstone bridge, circuit diagram of it, and this will be the real image of Wheatstone bridge, and knobs which you can turn to increase or decrease resistance, and you can find the resistance of your own substance. That means suppose you have a device or a wire and you want to find the resistance of that piece, then you can put this, you can attach it with this Wheatstone bridge, and you can find the unknown value of resistance of our sample. The electrical resistance of any object is directly proportional to its length and inversely proportional to the area of cross section A. So our equation will be R is directly proportional with L and inversely proportional with area of cross section. That means consider it like this way. Suppose you have a piece of wire, and suppose this is the area of cross section, and this is the length of wire. Okay, suppose area of cross section, that means when we cut the wire, then surface open to us is called area of cross section, and from this point to this point distance is called L. So as the area of cross section increases, it decreases the resistance, but as the length increases, it increases the resistance. So to remove the proportionality symbol, we can rewrite the equation as follow: R is equal to rho into L upon A. Here rho is a proportionality of constant, so it is called resistivity or specific resistance. Its SI units are ohm meters, and quite often it's multiplied. Ohm centimeter is also used. IUPAC recommends the use of term resistivity over the specific resistance, and hence in the rest of the book we shall use the term resistivity. Physically, the resistivity for the substance is its resistance when it is 1 meter long and its area of cross section is 1 meter square. That means length and area, both of them are in unity. At that time we will call it resistivity of given substance. So 1 ohm meter is equal to 100 ohm centimeter, or 1 ohm centimeter is equal to 0.01 ohm meter. So directly relation with meter and centimeter unit. Now the inverse of resistivity R is called conductance. Obviously conductance and resistivity, both of them are opposite to each other. If conductivity increases, that means resistance decreases. Resistance will decrease the amount of electricity passing through the body, and conductivity, that means amount of electricity passing through the body. So they are inversely proportional to each other. Symbol will be G, and we have the relation G is equal to 1 upon R, or it is equal to A upon rho L, or 1 upon rho is equal to K or kappa. That means K or kappa into A upon L. The SI unit of conductance is Siemens, represented by the symbol S, and it's equal to ohm inverse, also known as mho. So inverse of the resistivity called conductivity. Specific conductance is represented by the symbol K or kappa. And again, IUPAC has recommended the use of term conductivity over the specific conductance, and hence we shall use the term conductivity in the rest of the book. So resistivity, that means specific resistance when all the values are in unity. And similarly, conductivity or specific conductance, that means value of conductivity when all the values are in unity. So it is the inverse of resistivity, that means symbols or units will be inversed as well. So unit of conductivity is Siemens meter inverse, but quite often kappa is expressed as centimeter inverse. Conductivity of material in S meter inverse is conductance when 1 meter long and the area of cross section is 1 meter square. It may be noted that 1 S centimeter inverse is equal to 100 S meter inverse. So here a value of conductivity of conductors, insulators and semiconductors along with aqueous solutions are mentioned. Okay, so we can see and we can compare their values with each other. So as we can see, sodium, copper, silver, etc. metals are good conductor of electricity. That's why their conductivity value are quite high. Glass, Teflon are insulators, so their conductivity values are very low. Aqueous solutions are between these. That means some of the aqueous solutions behave as good conductor of electricity and some of them are not. So different values are mentioned. As we can see, pure water has very poor conductivity. So normally when water conducts electricity, it is because of soluble salts or soluble ions into it. So as we can see, if we dissolve HCl, KCl, NaCl, etc. in the water, then they will increase the conductivity with good amount of value. And semiconductor between the conductors and insulators. Now from this table we can say that magnitude of conductivity varies in a great deal and depends on the nature of material. It is also depend on the temperature and pressure at which measurements are made. Materials are classified into conductors, insulators and semiconductors depending on the magnitude of conductivity. Metals and alloys have very large conductivity and are known as conductors. Certain non-metals like carbon black, graphite and some organic polymers are also electronically conducting. Substances like glass, ceramics, etc. having very low conductivity are known as insulator, and substances like silicon, doped silicon, gallium arsenide having conductivity between the conductors and insulators are called semiconductor. We already discussed about semiconductor in first unit, solid state, and we observe that by adding some impurities called doping we can increase their conductivity. Certain material called superconductors by definition have zero resistivity or infinite conductivity. That means they will conduct 100% electricity. Right now all the conductors or non-conductors are not completely conductors or completely insulator. That means they cannot conduct 100% electrons from one end to other end, or they cannot block 100% electrons from one end to other end. More or less they will conduct some amount of electrons and they cannot conduct all amount of it. But according to definition, superconductors have zero resistance. That means 100% conductance. They will conduct all of the electrons which you give it to them. So superconductors are quite hard to maintain. Normally earlier only metals and their alloys at very low temperature 0 to 15 Kelvin were known to behave as superconductors, but nowadays number of ceramic materials and mixed oxide are also known to show superconductivity at temperature as high as 150 Kelvin. But still keep in mind 150 Kelvin is comparatively very low temperature. So you cannot obtain, right now we cannot obtain superconductors at normal temperature. We need to cool down conductors or semiconductors so that their conductivity value increases. Electrical conductance through the metal is called metallic or electronic conductance, and it is due to the movement of electrons. The electronic conductance depends on nature and structure of metal, number of valence electron per atom, temperature. It decreases with increase in temperature. So we already discussed about the effect of temperature on conductors in first unit solid state. You can go and refer it. During the conductance in metal, composition of metal do not change. That means when you put electron from one side, it will go from second side, and no change will be observed in structure of metals. The mechanism of conductance through the semiconductor is more complex. We already know in class 11 unit 7 that the very pure water has small amount of hydrogen and hydroxyl ion, 10 raised to minus 7. We measured pH of water is equal to 7 based on this value. So which lead it a very low conductivity, 3.5 into 10 raised to minus 5. When electrolytes are dissolved in the water, they add their own ions so that conductivity will increase. The conductance of electricity by the ions present in the solution is called electrolytic or ionic conductance, and it depends on nature of electrolytic light added, size and ions produced, and their solvation. The nature of the solvent and its viscosity, concentration of electrolyte, temperature. It increases with the increase in temperature. So now few points are mentioned. First point indicates nature of added electrolyte. That means if electrolyte is weak, then you will get less number of ions in it in the solution. If it is strong, you will get more ions inside the solution. So higher the number of ions, more will be conductivity. Now size of ions, suppose you have two different solutions having same type of negative ion and different type of positive ion. One positive ion is small, carries plus 1 charge, second one is large, carrying plus 1 size. So obviously when this electron try to move inside the solution, smaller size will give it advantage. It can move comparatively faster because of smaller size. That means less resistance or friction of the solution will feel. Bigger size represents it will feel more resistance from the solvent, and it will move slowly. So it depends on nature of electrolyte. Same point is mentioned in second step, size and ions. So as we discussed here, size, if it is smaller, fast movement will occur, and bigger size gives us comparatively slow movements. Now nature of solvent and its viscosity. Now if a solvent is less viscous, that means ions can move comparatively faster, and if it is comparatively more viscous, then ions movement will be slower. Next, concentration of electrolyte. As the concentration of electrolyte increases, more number of ions will be produced. So higher number or higher concentration will give us more conductivity, lower concentration will give us lower conductivity. And temperature, now as we increase the temperature, more ionization will occur. Ionization, that means number of ion or percentage of ion produced from given sample of ionic molecules. That means suppose let us assume at normal temperature 80% ionization occurs. That means from 1 mole 0.8 moles will be ionized, and 0.2 moles will remain as molecule, and those molecules do not conduct the electricity. If we increase the temperature, and at higher temperature, let us assume 90% ionization occurs. That means 90% ions will be produced, 10% molecules will remain. So higher the number of ions, more will be conductivity. And if we pass direct current for longer period from the solution, it will lead to some chemical reactions which will change the composition of our initial materials. That means by passing the electricity, we are actually changing the chemical compositions of materials used. Okay, that means we can use this point as a positive point as well. Suppose you want to produce certain metals from the seawater. As for example, sodium metal can be produced from seawater because seawater contains NaCl, and by the reduction reaction of sodium metal or sodium ion, we can obtain sodium metal from seawater. So by passing the electricity, we can change the composition of our materials.